Have you ever observed how people behave differently when they are aware of your desires? They change the moment they see what you're pursuing, be it validation, success, love, or approval. They begin to play tricks, retreat, make fewer offers, or turn your desire against you. It's comparable to revealing your cards at the beginning of a game of poker. Although you may believe that being honest fosters trust, in practice, it frequently only gives others more control over you. When you tell a woman that you can't stop thinking about her, she realizes she has you. Your boss knows you'll wait interminably without asking questions, so you tell him that this promotion means the world to you. When you show the world that you're desperate to succeed, everyone knows exactly how to sabotage your advancement. People respond to obvious hunger, not because they are bad. What is chasing us is not something we pursue. We seek the quiet, the motionless, and the seemingly unattainable. The majority of people do not fail in life because they are incapable, because they are too simple to read. They lose, they express their emotions too freely, their hardships too loudly, and their goals too early. And that kind of emotional exposure turns into a weakness in a society that values control. It's not that you shouldn't feel, but that you shouldn't show it to everyone. There is an alternative method of movement. We refer to it as cold ambition. It has nothing to do with heartlessness. It all comes down to strategy. You still care, you still dream, but you keep it to yourself. You construct without making a statement. You quietly get better. The most powerful people in the room are rarely the ones who talk the most, so you allow people to underestimate you because it allows you to move freely. They are the ones who observe, make decisions, and wait for others to come forward. You don't have to plead for respect. Walk as though you already have it. You don't have to describe your vision. Let your outcomes do the talking. You don't have to express your emotions. Allow your presence to speak for itself. People can't control you once they can't read you. They will be unable to block you once they are unable to anticipate your moves. Therefore, think twice before sharing too much the next time. Consider, does this make me easier to handle, or does it actually help me? Quit sharing your priorities with the world and begin building in private. It's because you're focused, not because you're hiding. You're in charge, not because you're scared. Rarely is the most powerful man the loudest. It is impossible to ignore the quiet one, the one who moves with calm discipline, who doesn't show signs of hunger, and who doesn't plead for attention. People respect that person. They follow that person, and the winner is that. The world examines your words rather than merely responding to them. You're also easier to influence when you're easy to read. For this reason, those who rise the fastest aren't necessarily the most outspoken or fervent. It is they who remain unreadable. They never reveal more than is necessary, keep their cards close, and let people guess. It's not about hiding your true self or acting fake. It's about preventing others from using your playbook against you. Because someone can move you once they understand what drives you. They will compete with you if you tell them you want power. They will put you to the test if you tell them you want love. They will force you to seek approval if you tell them you want it. That's how leverage functions. They will push your buttons when they see them. The majority of people give away their influence simply by speaking. They aren't even aware of it. They describe everything, including their feelings, plans, and hopes for the future. They also give others a clear map to work with. Consider it. The one who brags to everyone about his desire to be successful, all of a sudden, he is working extra hours for a boss who knows he won't refuse. The man who tells a girl that she is his only thought, she is now aware that she need not try. Stop announcing every move if you want to be taken seriously. Privacy is respected by power. Confidence doesn't require explanation. Those who aren't trying to impress anyone are the most captivating. They simply move with intention. No pleading, no justification, no pursuit. Being silent is not a sign of weakness, it's lucidity. It provides you with quiet time to reflect, adapt, and develop. It maintains people's interest, and power comes from curiosity. People start observing you when they are unable to understand you. They begin to wonder, and you take charge in that area. You don't need to be cold or aloof. However, you must exercise restraint when disclosing information. Not everyone is worthy of having access to your thoughts. Not everyone must be aware of your next move. People can stop you in your tracks if you're constantly sharing how you're feeling. Speak less instead. See more. Allow your behavior to tell the tale. People infer more about you than you ever need to when you move silently, and you benefit from that assumption. It makes things mysterious. It fosters deference. It creates distance, which can occasionally be the area where your power increases. Therefore, simply smile when someone asks what you're working on. Let them guess what you're going to do next, because they can't control you if they can't read you. And the man nobody can manage? Everyone keeps an eye on that man. The man who doesn't chase is the most dangerous. Let me tell you something that most people will never acknowledge. The world starts to distance itself from you the moment you appear to want something too much. Power is repelled by neediness, not because you are undeserving. It gives others the impression that they own you. They will then test you, hold you up, or dangle the object you desire, just far enough for you to pursue it. The man who doesn't chase is dangerous because of this. He's not in a desperate situation. He is methodical. He doesn't appear hungry. He is in control. And he becomes the one who people pay attention to in a world where everyone is loudly trying to prove something. Not because he's trying to get attention, but because he's not trying at all. This is where a lot of people make mistakes. They believe they are being brave or open by expressing their desires to the world, such as a relationship, a raise, or respect. In reality, though, they are exposing their weak points. Furthermore, you don't have to lose when someone is aware of your weak points. They only need to hold off on pulling the appropriate string until you're emotionally vulnerable. Silence has great power because of this. Everything changes when you stop trying to explain yourself, when you stop chasing people, and when you stop needing to be understood. The world begins to react to you when you stop reacting to it. You're not necessarily cold if you can't read. It indicates your level of focus. It implies that you can feel like you're moving forward without having to publicly display your goals. You're too occupied with construction, and there's something magnetic about that quiet energy. Even if they are unable to articulate it, people feel it. They begin to wonder, what is he doing? Why does he seem so composed? Why doesn't he require anything from us? The game is that you get more power the less you seem to need, because having the loudest voice in the room isn't what power is all about. It's about being the one who, when the room turns against him, doesn't flinch, beg, or break rhythm. People respect you because you didn't ask for it, not because you asked for it. Let's face it, speaking too soon causes most people to lose influence. They give away too much. Without realizing it, they expose themselves to the whims of whoever is listening. When they talk about how much something means to them, the man who doesn't express his desires, he maintains control. When necessary, he leaves. He doesn't exchange his silence for acceptance. People are unable to play him as a result. Even the rules of his game are unknown to them. You become difficult to control once you learn to move like this. You are no longer the emotional puppet. You quit being the person who loses it when he doesn't get his way. Rather, you become unstoppable. It's not that you don't feel. Rather, it's that you keep your feelings to yourself. The true discipline is that. Less expression, not just less desire. Let your outcomes do the talking. Allow your presence to do the talking. Let your absence do the talking. It is more difficult to confront a man who doesn't provide an explanation, and the one who doesn't pursue ends up being pursued by others. This is what cold ambition is all about. Mastering desire, not lacking it. And I have something for you if you want to hone that focus even more. Machiavelli. This video will boost your concentration by 200%. In an environment full of distractions, it's the next step in learning how to become untouchable. This is the place to start if you're prepared to improve your mental toughness. You don't have to give an explanation for your silence. You owe no one an explanation for your lack of availability, focus, or distance. Such an explanation is exposure rather than connection. Additionally, you give someone a clearer mental map each time you explain, a map that they can use against you. Everybody has been there. You share something that excites you. You discuss your objectives, your vision, and the project you are working on. It feels empowering at first. The silence follows though. The strange expressions, the caustic comments, or worse, people start questioning you, competing with you, or avoiding you all of a sudden. You believed you were being sincere. However, you were giving away leverage. The harsh reality is that most people are unsure of how to handle your vulnerability. They either make fun of it, are afraid of it, or use it to compare themselves to you. Even those closest to you may do it unknowingly, because as soon as you say, "This means everything to me," their mind begins to figure out how to take it away from you. For this reason, the man who speaks less wins more. He doesn't require approval. He doesn't go into too much detail. He doesn't make every move public. People are unable to get ready for him as a result. They are unable to confine him. They are unable to include him in their games. Have you ever noticed how strong people are? They don't say they're sorry for being busy. Not all of the boundaries they establish are justified. They keep their dreams to themselves. They let their presence speak for itself. They let their outcomes do the talking. They establish distance rather than requesting understanding, not because they're impolite, but because they know that your mystery gets smaller every time you give an explanation, and your control vanishes along with your mystery. Do you want respect from others? Quit making such an effort to be understood. Allow them to speculate about your thoughts. Let them wonder why they aren't following, responding, or playing the same game as everyone else. Your influence begins to grow in that space of tension you create in their mind, that "I don't know what he's thinking." Being loud doesn't make you powerful. Being unreadable makes you powerful. People can't play you when they can't predict you. They are unable to plot against you. They're constantly trying to figure out what you're going to do next. Let them ponder. Allow them to complete the gaps. Make the most of their presumptions, because you'll be 10 steps ahead of them, calm, focused, and unmanageable, while they're attempting to comprehend you. Here, we don't justify ourselves. Instead, we create, we move, and we allow the world to sense the change without anticipating it. Most people are unaware of the fact that strength is hidden when things are going well. When everything breaks down, it becomes apparent. When they're winning, anyone can project confidence. However, people don't want to cross a man who can move on without needing assurance, who can be rejected without losing rhythm, or who can take a loss without flinching, because presence alone does not equate to power. It all comes down to how composed you are in a noisy environment. Reactions cost money. You cede emotional control to someone else each time you snap, gripe, or justify. You give them evidence that they've triggered an emotional response. Most people only need that to begin manipulating you. Not with force, not with threats. However, in silence, with small games, with delays, pauses, or mild taunts intended to disturb your composure. The person shouting in the meeting isn't the one with real power. He isn't the one who is pursuing the girl or bombarding others with impassioned speeches. He is the one who remains unfazed by being undervalued. He is the one who observes, adjusts, and goes on without recognition or consent. When you can't be disturbed, you become dangerous. And a lot of people overlook this. They believe that discipline is about hustle or routines. However, emotional discipline is the most profound kind. When everything around you tries to distract you, can you maintain your composure? Just because someone tried to provoke you doesn't mean you have to react. Is it possible to lose and act as though you've already won? The fact is that people test your reactions more often than they test your outcomes. When things don't go your way, they want to see how you handle it. They determine whether you are a leader or a follower at that point, if they can ignore you or if they have to keep an eye on you. Additionally, you're already giving someone the blueprint for controlling you if you're the kind of person who constantly needs to defend yourself, justify your value, and get others to understand you. Silence is the first step towards control. You are not required to answer every question. When something walks away, you don't have to chase it. Additionally, you don't have to prove anything to those who have already chosen to misinterpret you. The cool guy, he's erratic. He cannot be read, and that's what gives him power. Since nobody can predict what will move him, nobody can predict what will frighten him. They quit playing games as a result. Testing is discontinued. They obey out of respect rather than fear. Allow others to become alarmed. Permit them to share too much. Allow them to pursue objects that break apart the moment they come into contact with them. You remain grounded. You maintain your concentration. You allow your silence to speak for you when words cannot. The same people who disregarded you, questioned you, or attempted to manipulate you will eventually question how you managed to create something so strong without ever making it public. They'll question how you managed to remain calm while everyone else was in disarray. That is the strength of icy ambition. It doesn't require care. It doesn't require confirmation. It simply keeps going. Don't explain the next time life throws you a curveball. Don't respond. Avoid the trap of having to prove yourself. Simply correct your posture, learn from it, and continue. Not for them, for you. And we maintain control here. One silent step at a time, we construct it. Noise is rewarded in our world. Post everything. Talk about everything. Let people know what you're doing, where you're headed, and what you're creating. The problem with that, though, is that you invite more pressure the more you announce. You draw more interference the more you divulge. For this reason, the most intelligent builders are the ones who keep to themselves, the ones you hardly notice until the task is completed. They don't display the blueprint. They don't provide weekly reassurance by outlining their objectives. They simply carry out their duties, silently, steadily, relentlessly. Additionally, it's too late to compete by the time everyone realizes what they were working on. People will begin to change the world if you continue to express your desires. They will give you advice that seems beneficial but deviates from your intended path. They will question your vision because they are projecting their own fear onto you, not because it is incorrect. Or they'll attempt to outrun you because they heard you say you did, not because they want to. Every word carries some risk. Every announcement is an opportunity for someone to criticize, undermine, or postpone you. Additionally, you must build your dream more quietly the larger it is. Fear isn't that. Focus is that. A play-by-play is not something you owe the world. You don't have to give an explanation for your silence, busy schedule, or prolonged absence. Let them ponder. Let them make assumptions. Because they don't interfere as much the more they guess. That silence is where power resides. Because they run their mouths rather than their plans, most people burn out halfway through. They speak as though the task has already been completed. They then crumble under the weight of their own announcements when things get difficult. They believe that too many people are watching, so they can't back out just yet. Therefore, they either make up progress or give up entirely. You're not like that, though. To be seen trying is not why you are here. You're here to get it done. You are dangerous because of that. The applause is not necessary for you. You don't seek attention. At mile 2, you don't gather praise. Instead, you cross the finish line and let your accomplishments do the talking. Your silence isn't meaningless because of this. It's loaded. Your competitors remain distracted on every day you work quietly. You safeguard the power of surprise each time you fight the impulse to reveal your next move. Because no one gets in your way when they don't see you coming. Build your thing then. Pay attention. If necessary, go dark. Let it speak when it's ready. Not for show, not for approval, but because it has already been completed. The move is that. The majority of people are unaware of how much power they lose simply by being too easily understood. People categorize you more when they understand you better, and they no longer respect you after they believe they have you figured out. They lose their curiosity. They pause their attentive observation. You become predictable, and people who are predictable are easy to manage. However, people begin to respect your presence when they are unable to discern your thoughts, when they are unable to determine whether you are simply observing in silence or are 2 steps ahead. At that point, you can manage the atmosphere in the room without ever raising your voice. To be respected, you don't need to be mysterious. All you need to do is exercise discernment. Every time you give someone access to your thoughts or share something private, consider whether they really need to know. Or am I letting go of something that I will never get back? Because once someone is aware of your weakness, they will always remember it. Even if they have feelings for you, even if they have good intentions. People reach for what they know will shake you when stress hits, ego flares, or conflict arises. Additionally, they won't have to guess where to aim if you've already let them know what matters most to you. Because of this, power is about what you protect rather than just what you do. You protect, not flaunt, your objectives, your desires, and your emotional rhythm. You never map your direction. Instead, you let others feel it. You never fully read your intentions, but you let them feel your energy. Living in fear is not the point here. It's about living in the moment. The more unreadable you are, the more liberated you are. You don't let other people's expectations hold you back. You develop without requiring praise at every turn. No one can hold you captive to your former self. You are free to alter your mind, change your course, vanish, and reappear. Everyone doesn't have to get you. Actually, it's preferable if they don't, because people hesitate when they are confused. People respect you when you are mysterious. People watch you instead of dismissing you when they are unable to define you. That's what cold ambition is all about. Desiring more, but never openly pursuing it. Building in silence, taking calculated steps, and letting the outcomes speak for themselves. So let them wonder what you're doing. Allow them to make up stories in their minds. Allow them to misinterpret you as you continue to advance behind the scenes, because they will ultimately either be envious of the outcomes or admire them. However, they will always remember that you accomplished this without ever providing them with the blueprint. Stay tuned if this video changed your perspective. Much more is on the horizon. For content that genuinely aids in leveling up, maintaining composure, and maintaining control, hit subscribe and stay in touch with Philora. You'll learn more and become even more focused if you watch the suggested videos that follow. If this resonated with you, it's likely to benefit someone else as well. Give it to a brother, friend, or someone who needs a little encouragement. Here, we're creating something genuine. No fanfare, no commotion, just straightforward wisdom. You're already involved. Together, let's continue to develop.